Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video not really as well organized as some of my other ones. It's kind of just going to be me showing you, demonstrating you why the potential for if a pattern sets up, why it could mean a snowy, cold winter. I don't really know what I'll title this video exactly, but I just wanted to show you what the possibilities are with this, with a negative NAO pattern, and what are the thoughts on winter right now. So consider subscribing, consider liking this video, consider, becoming a subscriber. I mean, it really helps this channel a lot, and I would, really obviously recommend it for my channel. I mean, I would obviously recommend it. It's my channel, but really consider doing that. So thank you. Let's get on with the video. So right now, let's look at the sea surface temperatures quickly, actually. So let's go here. This is, as of right now, basically the latest sea surface temperature updates from all the buoys across all of basically the world. You can see the anomalies. This isn't the sea surface temperatures. This is the sea surface temperature anomalies. So basically, it's showing you where it's below or above average. Like you can see off the coast of South America, it is below average. We have some blue spots. That is that would be more indicative of La Nina, but again, as we all know, it's in neutral because of the little bit warmer waters out here, and the trend has been kind of, sticking with that neutral pattern throughout winter and fall. But what we want to notice on is, I definitely brought this up in several of my videos, but now I kind of want to focus more on it. So basically, there's this potential for you can see this warm water across the Gulf of, basically the Gulf of Alaska, which is this region right here. Kind of like we have the Gulf of Mexico. This is kind of like the Gulf of Alaska. You can see it's much bigger, but it also has pretty big impacts on the U.S. pattern as well. So let's draw the high pressure, which is parked right now over there. Basically, what it basically is doing right now. It obviously veers, it doesn't just stay in place. It could go either this way a little bit, it could move a little bit to the east, or the right, or the left. And right now it's parked a little bit more to the left, so it's centered right across kind of like the hot spot of water right there. And what this is doing right now is actually correlated with the big snowstorms occurring right now in Montana. So basically, this is spinning counterclockwise, you could see, or sorry, clockwise. All high pressure spin clockwise in the northern hemisphere. And then this, basically what this does with the jet stream and any, kind of cold air masses, it sends it way up, but then like a pulled rubber band, I remember I kept saying it, if you pull a rubber band, you have it like kind of taut on two strings and you pull on it, then it's going to shoot back the other direction, and it's going to go back and forth. So that's basically what the jet stream does here, and it brings a dip into the west, but back for the eastern U.S. right now, it's bringing in warmth, So that's why it's so cold in the western U.S. That's why it's allowing almost 30 to 40 inches of snow to occur across those areas with this high pressure controlling all of this. Also, usually during the winter time, there's a blocking Greenland high, if you've ever heard of that. That's basically a high pressure that's off of Greenland, and what it does is, obviously, it spins clockwise. Again, it doesn't change its rotation. It's just the position that changes, and now this could maybe prevent the jet stream from really allowing to dive into the eastern U.S. and bring, or it would allow the jet stream to dive into eastern U.S., but this would also have to be lined up with this one. So this one would have to be more to the right. So you know how I said this could, kind of rotate or move from the left to the right throughout the winter. Well, if it sets up a little bit further to the right or to the east in the winter time, and it's the cold air doesn't really center itself so much on the west, but maybe the central U.S. or even the eastern U.S. if this does a even bigger pattern or even bigger dip into the jet stream, and this sometimes is again amplified by the Greenland blocking pattern, and this kind of blocks the jet stream from. So basically, it's sitting right here, spinning counterclockwise, and kind of just locks it into this position. We have it spinning, pushing it up, so it's forced to go up, and then it's forced to go down in the first place by this high pressure. So we could keep in this pattern for quite a while during the winter time. This is why these two features could mean quite a a substantial difference in this year's winter snowfall for the eastern U.S. and even the central U.S. because where there's cold, usually there's more snow, unless it's like an Arctic air mass, which usually they are more drier, but always after or before the Arctic air masses, there is always a big or at least some sort of snow storm. And notice how also the jet stream, when it travels really fast, like it would do here, it's trying to get you kind of again like that rubber band be shoot back into position, but this high pressure is blocking and it's sending it even further up. It's kind of speeding up like a highway along this, and what that does is any storm that wants to develop, it just takes this track. Even if it starts off here, it gets dragged down almost like if this was a current, and it kind of just shoots it up there, and that allows for big snows across the eastern U.S. So I don't know if that drawing really helped, but this could be a key factor, a very interesting feature that could be meaning a whole difference for the U.S. And this is what I was talking about. You could see that the mild air aloft blocking high. This allows for not only the U.S. to get cold, but also Europe to get cold. And we're not talking about Europe on this channel, but if you live in England, Scotland, Ireland, anywhere in the east, I would say western to central Europe, you get affected by this Arctic air or very cold air during the winter time. Now again, this won't be all of winter, but this could happen several times throughout the winter, I would say. Especially prone this winter could happen even more, especially since we have that neutral El Nino and that neutral Enzo, sorry, and that is basically also kind of favorable for, again, that cold air to come in, and those jet streams are more malleable, and they could set into their position a little bit easier with some of the conditions to the south with the Enzo region already in play. So that it's looking very interesting at this point. I want to point this out again. You can see basically what I drew out on the sea surface temperatures. A high pressure up there, that's what we have right now. So we have the first part, but the high pressure up here isn't really forming. If you look south of Greenland, the waters aren't really too warm. They're not too cold either. They're kind of a mix. We'll just have to see what happens as we near winter. We still have quite a bit left by September 28th. We'll see exactly how everything plays out at this point. Again, it seems favorable for a lot of negative NAO patterns, and you can see that this kind of gives you a little brief description. Hopefully that is clear enough. Basically, you can see in the negative NAO setup, a large upper high on a ridge, sometimes a block, and the jet stream is over Greenland. This setup means much colder pattern as the jet stream is forced to plunge south into the Midwest and East Coast, and the pattern favors big winter storms for the East Coast. In a negative positive, the large upper low in the jet stream is over Greenland, which often keeps the heart of the cold out of the eastern U.S. When the NAO is positive and the pattern favors ridge and a jet stream over the southeastern U.S., sustained cold cannot move into the U.S. So kind of like that Bermuda high gets into a hybrid, and it doesn't really allow that jet stream to get into the south. That's what we have been seeing a little bit for the past couple of months. But again, that's because during the summer, this completely, a positive NAO is even different than it is during a winter. You can't just kind of like the same thing with it's almost like if you were to lay the neutral impacts of an Enzo on the summer. Summer neutral Enzo impacts are different than from the winter. These are, you could see, typical winter patterns. And that negative NAO only does this effectively in the winter time. During the summertime, even if we had a negative NAO, which we had, there sometimes could be a big heat wave over a certain region, and that gets many people confused. I also want to show you this. This is basically if you live anywhere across the country, anywhere in other countries, you can see that this is what a negative NAO could do for the winter. Again, weak low pressure or strong blocking high activity, and that basically, again, keeps the above normal snow for the east, and the cold air, strong Canadian flow, produces significant cold outbreaks, warmer than normal for maybe Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. But again, much of southern Canada would be cold with this as well. Colder and drier than normal for the Europe. That is kind of what the central U.S. would be seeing. They would be maybe not seeing as much snow as the east. The east is more favorable to be seeing snow in this pattern. So colder and drier, but probably quite a bit of snow on the eastern front, just with the U.S. and wetter normal for northern Africa and southern Europe. You can see this one has the jet stream tracking way to the south and into the African, northern Africa, and the Balkans and Mediterranean. But if you were to, sometimes this blocking could be stronger, and this jet stream could get picked up north, go around it, and then go to the south like that. So then that could bring, chill and still some storms along with it, but maybe not as stormy as what they're showing here. This would have to be even more specific setup other than a negative NAO. So again, there's a lot of potential this winter. There's a lot of things that are kind of like this that are, you know, could be this, could be that. If it's this, could be snowy. If it's that, it won't. But, you know, a lot of them are showing as of now that it's more favorable towards that negative NAO, that neutral pattern. Those cold analogs are showing from previous winters that are comparable. So overall, this winter looks pretty snowy, pretty cold for a good chunk of the country, especially the eastern U.S. The eastern half, I would say, eastern 2/3, starting from anywhere east of the Rockies, seems pretty chilly. But the Northwest also could see some pretty chilly conditions in the next month. At this point, it seems it's pretty active pattern. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.